Brett, come on, man. I know Aztec's #1 for online safety training, but we really should be out here practicing.
I know, guys. I'll be right there. Just let me finish this course on gas detection. Wait. Do you smell that?
Driftwood Brewery, Esquimalt, crafting world-class beer since 2008. This is where beer is made. With care, intention, and respect for the process, every batch reflects the place we're from and the standards we hold ourselves to. And this is where it's enjoyed. Our tasting room, offering a rotating lineup of West Coast favorites and seasonal releases, right here in Esquimalt. Paired with Thai-inspired food from Dumpling Drop, we're open 7 days a week. Driftwood Brewery, great beer, confidently made. Cheers.
So I'm here now.
Perfect. Well, welcome to the 3 versus 4 Page playoff game here in Esquimalt, BC, of the Men's BC Provincial Championship. My name is Eric Caldwell, and I'm joined alongside Craig, and we're going to be having this game this morning.
Yeah, it should be a good one. Both these teams played really well last night, and I'm looking forward to this battle.
Yeah, they both did play really well last night, and they kind of knocked off the two favorites kind of coming into the week, the two highest ranked teams in BC. Wakefield was able to take out Blandford 10-3, and De Jong fell to Krell 10-2. So these teams looked really good, and I expect them to continue their good play this morning.
Yeah, and both teams haven't been afraid to put a lot of rocks in play all week long. They've been very entertaining to watch, and I suspect we'll see a lot of the same here in this game. And then as soon as I say that, they put the first one in and hit it.
For a lot of these guys on the ice this morning, it is their first playoff game at the men's level. So, I mean, they just want to get probably a little bit of the nerves out of the way, especially on Team Wakefield. I don't believe Matt McCready, or Chris Parkinson have played in a playoff game at the men's level, or Daniel Dang. So, it doesn't surprise me too much they want to play it open, just kind of get a feel under them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the three guys in front of Jay haven't made a playoff game. I could be wrong on that one, but if they have, it's been 1 or 2 at most. Jay, however, has been in, 6,000, so he should be fine.
Yeah. Not too worried about Jay out there. Actually, the last.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Actually, the last time that Richard Krell was in a playoff game and Dan Wenzik, it was in this same building a couple years ago. They were in the 1-2 game with Jeff Richard. They lost the 1-2 in the semifinal that year, but so they've played really well in this building in the past. They're just hoping to build on it in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, and the Team Krell front end also has a bunch of experience. I know Nick Maester's he's been to the Brier, and Jordan Tardy has all that experience with his brother, and they played in men's a few times, and I'm pretty sure they made the playoffs there.
Yeah, they made a finals the year before Tyler left BC. They lost in the finals to Jim Cotter and Steve Laycock.
Wow, a lot of people have lost in the finals to Jim Cotter, so no shame there.
Yeah, that's definitely a trend in BC over the years.
So as we were saying earlier, just keeping it clean this end, getting a feel, getting some throws under their belt before they mix it up. This is Team Wakefield's second, Chris Parkinson. The rollout gives him a chance to get a feel for draw weight here. That's always good in the first end.
Yeah, I always love this situation when it's the first end and I'm able to get draw weight right away. It's a good feeling to have. It gives you a lot of confidence going forward.
I'm generally happy if I can find draw weight by the sixth end, Eric. That's pretty good.
Just before it starts to change again.
Like just before we shake hands, usually.
I've had my fair share of those games as well. That was Jordan Tardy, makes a little hit and roll to the side. And now Matt McCrady's first rock at the end.
And just nice, easy control weight. Doesn't want to roll too far. Right back to the center. Now, you've been in games like this before, Eric. Do you prefer a first end like this, or do you want to get it right into it right away?
I would say from my experience, I think I like to play the first end actually pretty aggressive. Last year in the playoffs, we played the 1-2 game, and we started off. We threw a corner guard. We tried to get it going early, but our opponents didn't want to go with us. So usually our first ends end up like this, just because the other team can dictate it quite a bit, especially when if they don't have hammer, they can just kind of go top four and kind of force the play. But I always liked being a little bit more aggressive early in the end, just because, or early in the game, because I feel like this is when the ice is at its best. And if you do happen to make a mistake and give up a 2 or 3 early, that you have time to come back.
Yeah, it's I mean, I haven't played at this level, but it always struck me as it didn't make sense to me to waste an end. And I don't mean waste an end. They're obviously getting a feel for the ice and getting a read on what their hits are doing. But I think it was pretty much like you said. I think it was Wayne Madaw used to say, like, the ice is at its best in the first couple ends. So get out there and get after it. Oh, Jay forgot his throwing device.
Classic. Is that what your games look like a lot of the times? The guy forgetting his broom at the other end?
Yeah, it's usually me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I throw with the throwing device too, and I tend to leave it all over the damn place. Or my team has hidden it from me because they really don't like what I've called. So
it's always a good way to get you second guessing your shot.
All right, here's Jay Wakefield's first in the first end here. And no problem at all. Just going to put that one on the beak.
Yeah, and back to your point about being a little bit more aggressive in the first end, I always felt that if I got a deuce in the first end, it gave my team a lot of confidence, and it put a lot of pressure on the other team early, which I always like to do.
Now, if you're the team without hammer, would you try and steal? Like, would you go hard for the steal in the first end?
Yeah, we kind of did that last year. We kind of decided that we're throwing the center guard in the first end no matter what. Because once you throw that center guard, it kind of forces the hand of the team with hammer to play in the middle. Sometimes teams will go to the wing, but usually they play it in the middle, and that's kind of what we wanted. And I mean, even at our level, like teams are still really good at runbacks and peels and stuff. So it never guaranteed an end with rocks in play, but
It
if
was
they
more
made
likely.
one mistake, it was definitely happening.
So Richard Curl rolled out here, and he's going to give Jay a free draw. Always good for the skipper to see this.
Yeah, Jay's played really well this week. Every time I've tuned into their games, he's making draws to the side of the button, making draws to the 4-foot for two, getting his team out of a jam. This is probably his strongest asset on the team. Is his draw weight's usually really good.
Yeah, he's certainly made some really clutch shots, and his whole team has played well, but Jay has been pretty exceptional all week. They're just walking with this one in. There you go. Right on the top of the button.
No commentators jinx, thankfully.
That's because there were no stakes. It's an empty house.
Right.
All right. And last rock of the first end, looking for the blank. No mistake there. Blank first end. Let's see if they mix it up in the second.
The Kia Victoria experience is a different and better way to purchase a vehicle. We believe that the more positive your car buying experience, the more you're going to love your Kia. When we say the right thing to do, we're talking about putting the customer's needs first. It's about being honest and transparent, both in sales and in the service department, and it's also about treating everyone equally. If you haven't considered Kia Victoria, I would say come see it for yourself. You're going to be impressed with the people that you meet and impressed with the product.
Driftwood Brewery, Esquimalt, crafting world-class beer since 2008. This is where beer is made. With care, intention, and respect for the process, every batch reflects the place we're from and the standards we hold ourselves to. And this is where it's enjoyed. Our tasting room, offering a rotating lineup of West Coast favorites and seasonal releases, right here in Esquimalt. Paired with Thai-inspired food from Dumpling Drop, we're open 7 days a week. Driftwood Brewery, great beer, confidently made. Cheers.
Welcome back to the 2026 BC Men's and Women's Provincial Championships presented by Best Western. Just want to give a quick shout out to all of our sponsors, without whom we could be doing none of this. So the presenting sponsor, Best Western, of course. We also have Bel Air Direct, Driftwood Brewery, Digital Direct, and AMJ Moving. Our platinum sponsors are Kia Victoria and Peninsula Co-op, and our government and community partners are the Greater Victoria Sport Tourism Commission, BC Government, Via Sport, and the Township of Esquimalt. And one last thing, we just wanted to hype up the 50-50. New Year's Eve, we had somebody win $2,500 here at the arena. You do not have to be here to win. You'll see a QR code in some of the commercials, so you can jump in and play along. So we're in the second end here, Eric, and I didn't see what happened with the first rock. Did it slide in by accident, or did they put it in on purpose?
No, Jay called for top four, so
Okay.
I think Jay is obviously content with the start of this game being a little more open.
And Team Krell obliging him by just hitting everything. So looks like we're going to have another little bit of a back and forth hitting match here again, unless somebody makes a mistake.
Yeah, I always think the situation with the team with Hammer here, they're probably always going to be okay to just keep hitting, because if this went on for another 9 ends, they would be in the driver's seat. So I think it's going to be on Jay to apply a little pressure and get some rocks in play. But like you were saying earlier in the first end, that both these teams are playing with a lot of rocks in play in the round robin in the triple. So I'm kind of surprised by this.
Yeah, I mean, maybe because it is the first playoff game for so many of them, that they're just trying to make sure everybody's settled into the game. They're the only sheet out there. Nobody else is playing. There's a lot of factors that are making this a little bit different than all the other games they've played.
Yeah, that's very true. That's one thing that I was not really prepared for last year, as Jordan Tardy over
And
curls
there's the
here.
miss. Now we might get stuck in it a little bit.
Yeah, and Jay's just going to split the rings here. Just lie two. And then you're going to be seeing Krell just playing a lot of hit and rolls, trying to set up a double.
We're going pretty hard on this one.
Got to get a biter. And they will.
Oh, good sweep. I wasn't sure that was getting in. Looking at the angles, they're going to try the lawn double.
Yeah, I think so. I think Richard's kind of realizing that this is a pretty good angle on the double here, so might as well give this one a go.
All right, we'll see if Jordan can clean up. Oh, just over curled again. And give Jay a chance to put his next rock in a better spot.
Yeah, a little unfortunate for Jay. He's always going to have to be rolling to the middle here, which is always going to be kind of in line with the other blue. So he's probably hoping to roll this as big as he can to get it as far wide.
Yeah, it seemed to be what he was indicating. Try and get as far out to the side as possible. Matt McCrady's first here in the second. They're pounding it for curl. So that didn't move very much. I think it's going to give him the same shot again here.
Yep. Yep, Dan Wenzig's going to give it a go.
Well, they are. I was going to say they're on it all the way, but they called him off quick. And did he get that one out?
Jay's looking. It looks really close.
Yeah. Looks. I think it's out from the overhead, but it's always tricky.
Yeah, I know it's always coming from an angle, but that one does looks like it got out. So it's a nice shot by Dan Wenzig to get it to make up for Jordan's mistake earlier in the end, and we're back on our way to Blankville.
Yeah, asking Matt just to put this one in front of that blue that's just out of the house. Maybe set up a jam potential. See if they can get a half shot out of the Krell team again.
Yeah, Jay was initially indicating that he wanted to go around the red. And I like this call more to keep the play away from that corner guard. You don't want to give up a random out of nowhere deuce late in the end here. So you keep it as far away from that corner guard as possible, and you should be okay.
I don't think they got that one quite as deep as they wanted to, and should be fairly straightforward for Dan to remove this.
I think Meister working on it. Getting off it.
Just get rid of that back one just for good measure. Now there's no jam possibility. Nice shot.
Yep, really good from Dan. Two really good shots from Dan.
Well, for a second there, it looked like we were going to get some action, but a couple really nice shots from Dan Wenzig. And like you said, we're back on the train to Blanksville. But
yeah, and I think with the next end being the third end, an odd end, I would expect that Jay is going to be a little bit more aggressive to try to get some rocks in play and try to flip the hammer here.
yeah, I would think so too. It's about time to start mixing it up. An odd end, if you can force in that one and get yourself the hammer for 4, get the hammer in even ends going forward. That's a pretty good result for them, I think. All right, just waiting for Richard's first here in the second end. I think he's just happy to nose this one, right?
Yeah, he did. He likes to just nose this one. You could think about playing the hit and roll behind the red, but the danger with that shot is it's a really long roll, and if you did happen to roll out, then Jay would be able to come around it. So that's why they're just nosing this. They're not trying to play the hit and roll.
Yeah. Yeah, the risk isn't worth the potential reward. You're more likely to not make that roll than you are. So if they leave it just where Jay could hit and roll under, that wouldn't be good for them. Just keep it clean. Try again next end.
For sure. And I Jay will take a run at this. He doesn't really have anything to lose, and obviously the risk reward is much better for Jay here, because if he rolls out, it doesn't make a difference. But if he does happen to make the perfect roll, it could be a force.
All right, Jay Wakefield's last here in the second, looking to hit and roll under the red guard off to the side.
Chris working this one early, kind of on and off the whole way. Trying to get it to curl, but
I think they called that one a little safe, right? They could have been a little more aggressive with that, but no harm, no foul. Richard will make this one go away. Last rock of the second end. Looking for another blank. Oh, a lot of sweep call. I think he's got it.
On it right away.
Oh, was that going to get out? No. Wow. Little present for Team Wakefield there. 1-0 Wakefield after the force after 2.
Welcome to the RockShop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the RockShop has it all. Shop online anytime at the RockShop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. The RockShop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
Aztec Safety is #1 for online safety training.
Aztec Safety is the proud sponsor of the Aztec Safety Challenge, the #1 event on the World Curling Tour.
And Aztec Safety has been a proud sponsor of Team Jacobs on our quest to represent Canada at the Olympic Games.
And welcome back to the Archie Browning Sports Center here in Esquimalt, BC. This is the men's Page playoff, first game of the playoffs for the men. This is the 3-4 game, and Richard Krell just nosed the blank in the last end. So we did get a force, and Jay's trying to throw a corner guard here. So we might be getting some rocks in play here.
Yeah, the first one from Team Krell didn't get all the way to the top 4. So it's not as dangerous. I guess Jay doesn't feel like he needs to hit it. So let's get some rocks going and see if we can manufacture 2 out of this. Daniel Dang throwing the corner guard here. It looks like it's coming in nicely right to Jay's broom.
Yeah, and it seemed like in the first 2 ends that Team Krell was rolling out on their hits a little bit more than Team Wakefield was. So Team Wakefield was able to get a lot of free draws in the first and second end, so that should do them well here in the third end.
And they're just looking for the center guard here. Looks like it's hanging out a bit wide. Oh, here it comes. There's a lot of late finish. Yeah. Almost perfect. You can see a little bit of it.
Yeah, at least they guarded the right side of it, so you don't mind showing this side because it's rolling away from Team Wakefield's corner guard. If they were showing on the other side, Jay could make this hit and roll behind the corner, but
so Daniel Dane's second here, just looking for kind of a board weight, hit and roll out to the wings. Sweepers are on and off it a little bit.
That was a really good sweep by Chris Parkinson, and Daniel makes the nice hit and roll to the wing.
I think they're trying to roll under here.
Yep.
Just get under their own center.
Yep, Jordan's being asked to play the hit and roll here under the center. It's still going to be above the tee line.
Really going on this. I think he might have missed it. Oh, just got a piece.
Does it get out though? Oh.
It's been a bit of a struggle for Jordan with his hits. They're over curling quite a bit compared to the rest of the team. So
for sure, and both on that out turn. He missed one last time and it was an out turn in a very similar spot. So I don't know if he's just not getting out to the broom or not having enough of a set on his release. So this is a really good opportunity for Team Wakefield.
Yeah, if they can get one underneath the guards here, the other one in the wing out way wide in the wings, it's a pretty good chance they're going to get two. That Krell team's going to have some work to do. Now, half that stone's showing.
And just back to your point of how much a late finish we're seeing this week. The ice has been incredible. You really got to get wide on these guards because if you're tight to a guard at all, it's just always going to be over curling onto the other side.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing to watch how close to a guard some of the shots this week have been, and yet still popped out the other side. Jordan over curls again. So they're gonna have to figure out if they need to give him a little more broom or what needs to happen there, but it's been consistent on almost all of his hits so far.
Yeah, Mike Merklinger is our head ice maker here this year. He's done the provincials the last couple of years, and he always does an incredible job, him and his team. He's a true professional in the ice making world.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but positive reviews from the athletes. Everybody is loving the ice. The U20s are going to be playing along with the men's and women's semifinals. The U20 semifinals will be going on at the same time. They've moved over from the curling club and they're going to be playing here on the arena ice. They just had their practice. I was talking to a couple of the athletes before I jumped on the broadcast here, and they are super excited. They're loving the ice. It should be a really good experience for them.
Yeah, that's a super cool opportunity we're doing this year at the BC Championships. Getting the juniors to play on this ice for their semis and finals is a really cool opportunity because that's what they're going to be experiencing at the national. So
I think I think Richard called for a hit and flop under the two blues.
Yeah.
One doesn't quite make the roll.
Gave it a good effort.
Yeah, it was close. Needed to hold it just a hair straighter there. And Jay looking to hit and roll the other way. Take play away from those blues so that Richard can't hide under them as easily.
Yeah, I think Jay's pretty happy with this situation right now. It's pretty risk-free. They've got one buried around the corner. They've got a biter over there. They can make a hit and roll to the middle here. It's looking really good for Jay to score a multiple.
Oh, but I think he's going to roll out. Unfortunate rollout. Just needed to curl up a little more.
Yeah, Jay was calling sweep the whole way there. I think maybe it was just a little bit harder than he wanted. He wasn't expecting that weight. But yeah, that's a little unfortunate of a miss there.
That's going to give Team Krell the opportunity to deal with this Blue Rock wide open on the side here. If they get lucky, they can roll under their own stone. Put some pressure back on Jay.
Yeah, Dan's asked for the hidden roll here, and yeah, you're right. If he makes it under the red there, he'll be shot rock, so this is a pretty good opportunity. Just another overcurl and another hit for Team Krell.
Yeah, just returning the favor with the rollout. So if Team Wakefield can make this draw, they'll be looking good for a deuce again. Matt's just discussing the path with his sweepers. So where does he want to put this, Eric? What's top 8?
Yeah, I think he's looking for top 8. I think if you get into the T line range, I think that's a little dangerous just because Team Krell can freeze on the corner and be shot rock in a really good spot. If you leave this top 8 and Krell plays the freeze, well, you're still going to be shot rock. So yeah, I think ideally top 8, maybe top 4 at the deepest.
There we go. Top 8, perfect. Nice shot from Matt.
Yeah, that's a really good spot from Matt.
That's going to force the run.
Yeah, and with Matt putting it in that spot, it's a really good spot for Wakefield because this run back is short. And if Richard makes this, well, Jay's going to have the same run back right back. So you're not too worried about them making this and putting a ton of pressure on you. And Richard overcurled again. We're kind of seeing a trend here with Team Krell.
Yeah, I'm starting to think it might be where they're putting the broom because they can't all have wonky releases all of a sudden. So we know between these two teams, there's some experience out here. Jay's played in a lot of provincial playoff games. Nick on Team Krell has been to the Brier. Just thinking about it, between these two teams and the Montgomery team and Tanaka team that are waiting to go. Oh, Jared Kolomaya, he's been to the Brier too, right? But other than that, has anybody else won BC?
I don't believe so. Yeah, there's a lot of newcomers in the playoffs this year, and yeah, and at least for all of the skips, if any of the skips wins, it will be their first trip to the Brier and their first BC title and their first Purple Heart. So yeah, it's a pretty exciting time for BC curling because somebody on the men's side is going to be getting a new experience.
Well, these two teams hoping they're going to be that team. And Jay's just coming to the middle here.
Yeah, he called for kind of back 8, back 4. So maybe a rock deeper than he wanted, but that's a really good spot. You wanted to make this double as difficult as possible for Richard. Yeah, Jared Kolomea and Nick Meister were playing on a team together.
Right.
They played with Jeff Richard and Brent Pierce a couple years ago. They actually beat Jay in the final. So yeah, it's a lot of newcomers, a lot of first-time Brier hopefuls.
Well, that's exciting. It's always nice when we can see some new faces up and coming. Although, you know, some of these guys, Jay and Monty, I'm not sure we call them up and comers, but
They've been knocking on the door for a long time.
Yeah.
Richard trying the double and just. I don't know if he actually was trying to double or was he just trying to hit and roll?
Yeah, he was indicating to roll either in front of the back blue or behind the corners. He was hoping to get that roll just to make Jay's hit a little harder. That one undercurled, so they're just struggling a little bit to get the right broom for their hits. So it's stuck around just enough to outcount to be second shot. So Jay's got to take care of this one, hit it on the beak, and take his 3.
Yeah, pretty stress-free end for Team Wakefield. They didn't really have to make a ton of big pressure shots, and they're being rewarded here.
Well, having the ability to get a make after an opponent miss is an underrated part of curling, I think. All right, it is 3-1, or sorry, 4-0 for Team Wakefield after the third end. Nope, 3-1. I can't. Looking at
Aztec Safety is #1 for online safety training.
Aztec Safety is the proud sponsor of the Aztec Safety Challenge, the #1 event on the World Curling Tour.
And Aztec Safety has been a proud sponsor of Team Jacobs on our quest to represent Canada at the Olympic Games.
Driftwood Brewery, Esquimalt, crafting world-class beer since 2008. This is where beer is made. With care, intention, and respect for the process, every batch reflects the place we're from and the standards we hold ourselves to. And this is where it's enjoyed. Our tasting room, offering a rotating lineup of West Coast favorites and seasonal releases, right here in Esquimalt. Paired with Thai-inspired food from Dumpling Drop, we're open 7 days a week. Driftwood Brewery, great beer, confidently made. Cheers.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if I'm not playing next year.
Welcome back to the 2026 BC Men's and Women's Provincials in Esquimalt. We just finished up the third end where Team Wakefield took a 3 Men's Provincials here in Esquimalt. We just finished up the third end where Team Wakefield managed to take a 3 and have a 3-1 lead over Team Krell. So that was a pretty stress-free 3 as far as 3s go there, Eric. I think right now Team Krell needs to settle down a little bit and get dialed in on their hits. There's been a lot of overcurls and rollouts that led to Jay getting his rocks in good positions to get that multiple.
For sure, they're giving Jay a lot of free shots, not putting a ton of pressure on them. And credit where credit's due. Team Wakefield has been making the draws around the guards, has been making the hit and roll, so they're doing it. It's just Team Krell needs to start making some shots here to put a little bit more pressure on these shots for Team Wakefield.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see 1 or 2 shots go exactly where they want them to, give themselves a little bit of confidence, get themselves going. There's still a lot of time. These are 10-end games. So they've got 7 more ends to figure it out, and I don't doubt that they will. I think they'll get there shortly.
This looks pretty good from Nick Meister. Might be sliding a little deeper than he wanted, but
that's still pretty good.
Yep.
Jay's not going to chase that. He's just going to throw up the center.
Yeah, Team Wakefield is really strong up the middle once they get a lead. Chris Parkinson and Matt McCready are two very good hitters, so expect to see them be playing a lot of run backs if they get in any sort of trouble.
Chris just looking to cover up the rocks that are already in the rings. Just needs that to curl. There's that finish. Perfect.
Really good. One of the toughest shots on this ice. When it's curling as much as it does and it's as fast as it is, guards can be very difficult. So a well thrown guard is really impressive.
And Jordan asked to remove the guard. Hopefully get more than one here.
Keep trying to make a run back here.
Yeah.
It's a curl of hair. Really
Very
good
nice
from Jordan.
That's got to feel good. He's had a couple rough goes on his hits. He hit that one perfect.
Now Chris Parkinson being asked to play the run back right back.
Well, and you did mention that this is probably what we would see as soon as they were able. That one over curled a little bit. Didn't get the back one, but it opens up the Krell stone.
Yeah, and Krell's got that center guard that Jordan left, so Krell's in a pretty good spot here. They need to take advantage of this situation.
Now, would you ever just hit the open blue on the other side there, Eric?
No, I think you're probably coming around at this point. I think if this was maybe Richards rocks, you could probably see them hitting it, but I think they're looking at this situation that a 3 still might be in play with a couple really good shots around the center guard that if they took advantage.
Way off this one. Definitely deeper than they wanted. Let's see if Jay still has that front end strength from past years.
Doesn't quite look like it.
Oh, well, he's a little out of practice, you know. We'll give him a pass. Yeah, he's got the young guys out there for him to do that.
This kind of goes back to what I was saying last time, how Team Wakefield was taking advantage of the opportunities and making the draws around the guards. They're simple shots, but you need to take advantage of them when you get them at this level, and that's a good example of that right there. With Jordan sliding a little deep, they don't take advantage of, and now it looks like it's going to be a force again.
Yeah. Like I was saying before, taking advantage of your opponent's miss is a very underrated part of curling. We talk about it all the time, even though I only play at a very recreational club level. When the other team misses and you can get a make, it's such a momentum swing. Maybe not as much for these guys. They've been here, done that. But just being able to make one after a miss is such a huge thing. And right now, Team Wakefield's doing an awesome job of that.
The weight looks pretty close on this one. Nick Meister going to try to carve it over. That's pretty good. I think he got it about 3/4 buried.
Yeah. I'm off to the side of the sheet a little bit, so it's kind of hard to tell if any is showing. But not enough of it. Jay's just asking to come down to it. Are you surprised he's not running the guard at this one?
No, I think if he can see a piece of this, I think it makes a lot of sense to play this. It's just a much easier shot. The run back's really long.
Oh, I think they're on the guard here.
Oh, by a lot. That is the miss, though. That's the correct way to miss it. You never want to be going by it and leaving everything. So maybe not Matt's best throw, but he missed it the right way, got rid of the center guard. It kind of takes 3 out of the question now. So
Yeah, it would have been a lot of trouble if he had been wide there. So, like you said, pro miss, make sure you get the guard if nothing else. Dan looking to nose this blue, split the rings, keep the 2 going, and keep them far enough away that the double is as hard as possible.
yeah, this is where Team Krell needs to take advantage of this situation.
That's a good shot from Dan.
Is that shot rock?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's second.
If that isn't second, that's a pretty big mistake from Team Krell.
I'm going to say it's blue.
Yeah, from this overhead view, it sure looks like blue to me as well.
Well, there's a reason nobody ever lets me play third. I am terrible at this.
Yeah, and I've been playing second for the last couple of years, so maybe I'm a little out of practice as well.
But I think we're right on this one. I think they just didn't quite get there. Dan looked a little frustrated after he threw it. So
yeah, that's a really big mistake from Team Krell. It's almost like they didn't really talk about the shot beforehand. I feel like you need to play that a little bit more aggressive and make sure you get second shot, because if Jay makes a nice hit and roll here, Team Krell is going to be scrambling again.
yeah, it was just a missed sweep call there. I think it needed to curl a little more. Oh, Jay returns the favor. That's a tough miss.
Okay, so going back to how I said I didn't think a 3 was in play. I was saying that because 4 is in play. Yeah, that's
absolutely the wrong time to flash a rock there. Just the whole end has just swung around so many times.
yeah, and that's kind of the first miss that we've seen from Team Wakefield in a really poorly timed miss. You don't expect Jay to be missing an open hit too often.
Oh, this one's going too. Managed to hold it, get it to roll into the 8-foot a little bit. And what are you doing if you're Jay?
You're hoping that there's some sort of double. And it looks like with that rock rolling in about a foot, Jay should be able to make the double here. It looks like, yeah, a pretty natural, like half rock double. And you're just glad that you're not giving up 4 if you make this. But yeah, wow, what a turnaround this end. There's been 4 massive swings.
Yeah. Well, they're making up for those blanks. Now it's exciting. All right, Jay really needs to make this one. Sweepers are on it. So he makes the double. Team Krell hits this one and get their 3 right back. We'll see. It's been a bit of an adventure with Team Krell hits, so got to make this one nice.
And they do have to be a little bit careful on this. You can't hit this high side at all. If you hit it high side, it's going onto that back one. So you need to make sure you get at least nose or a little bit low. So But yeah, Team Krell needs to take advantage of this opportunity. It's kind of gifted to them, and now you need to make Team Wakefield pay.
All right, on it for Curl. Going straight. And no problem. Well, they get their 3 right back, and it's going to be 4-3 for Krell after 4.
When I was younger, I thought purpose had to be big, like changing the world. But then there's the little things, like fueling someone's car before an early shift, or helping someone find the perfect bottle to toast a special occasion, making sure the shelves are full so a family can cook dinner, so those kids can have their favorite treats. Like giving back, like making everyone's day just a bit better. Maybe that's exactly our purpose.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting tenfold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
Welcome back to the 2026 BC Men's and Women's Provincials presented by Best Western. We have just seen 2 crazy ends. Team Wakefield taking 3 in the third, followed by a huge miss from skipper Jay Wakefield, flashed an open hit, and gifted Team Krell 3 right back. So it is 4-3 for Team Krell after 4. What are you seeing there, Eric?
Yeah, it just looks like the teams are struggling with the ice a little bit. Team Wakefield actually has a pretty good handle on the ice, but we haven't really seen that many rocks in play. So the fact that there's been 2-3 spots scored in back-to-back ends is kind of crazy. Teams are just missing on the shots that they probably should expect to be making.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I watched both these teams play in the C qualifiers last night. And as you mentioned earlier, they took out Team Blandford and the reigning champs, Team DeYoung. And the games did not look like this at all. So it's been a bit of a struggle for both teams, maybe nerves getting the best of them. But hopefully they'll get a better read on the ice and we'll be in for a good second half here. So Team Wakefield came up a little bit short on their come around the center. Left another guard. Krell's going to go top 4 underneath them.
Yep, Dan Wenzig and Jordan Tardy managing this one in for Nick. Just coming up a little bit light.
A little shorter than he would have liked. Nick's usually pretty automatic with those.
And I'm going to take this moment to shout out the Curl BC 50/50 raffle. You can get your tickets online. There's a little QR code that pops up during the commercial breaks. And then also in that top right-hand corner, as we're looking, curlbc.ca/5050-raffle. And you can join. You don't have to be in the arena. I heard on New Year's Eve that somebody won $2,500. So get your tickets now and support local curling in BC.
Yeah, 2,500. December 30th, it was $2,700. So they're big jackpots. So get your tickets and get in on the action. So Daniel Dang hit and rolled away with that with the team Carlstone that didn't quite get under the guards. Now they're just trying to hit and roll under. Oh, that's pretty good. Pretty
That's
good from Jordan Tardy.
Really good. He's had a couple struggles, but he made the nice run back double the last end, and then a really nice hit and roll there.
Jay's going to ask Chris to just run these all back.
But yeah, back to what you were saying. This is definitely not the style of play that we were seeing last night, or kind of all week from these teams. Last night there was rocks all over the place. There was a million yards. There was taps, freezes, and today it doesn't seem like neither skip wants to kind of take any risk. And as soon as there's any sort of trouble, they're just trying to blow it up.
Yeah, playoffs are a different animal. And you're that much closer to winning the province. It starts to creep up on you, I would think. I mean, man, I get nervous just trying to win a Thursday league game.
Yeah, I think that's one thing.
Oh,
I think this is just over curling on Jordan.
Yeah, and way lighter than they wanted. That's going to give an opening for Wakefield here.
And that, unfortunately, is another overcurl for Jordan Tardy. I don't know if Richard's just not giving him enough ice, or if his release is just a little bit softer than what Richard's expecting. But they'll probably be talking about that at the fifth end break to see how they can correct that. This one's really going too. Oh my goodness. Didn't seem like he threw a ton of weight on that one.
No. Although for those hit and roll under, Jay's team tends to favor the softer weights. So I wasn't too surprised by the weight choice. They didn't seem to be panicking about the sweep until it was almost too late. Maybe there's a little bit more finish than they're expecting. Nice shot from Dan Wenzik.
It kind of seems like everybody is both teams are kind of sweeping every rock from end to end. Mm-hmm. And they're either making it or they're over curling. So I don't know. The teams might just be seeing a little bit more curl in the ice than they've seen all week. Because it doesn't seem like there's been a whole ton of just clean. It's been hard. You got to go. So.
Yeah, I agree. There's been a ton of sweeping basically out of the hand. And when they haven't swept out of the hand, it's suddenly cut on them and clipped off a guard or over curled. So let's see, they're just keeping this one clean.
That was a really good try.
That was really close. Does give Dan the chance to hit and roll under the corner. I'm sure Team Krell would be very happy to get a force in this end and take hammer back in 6.
Yeah, tied up going into the fifth end break, and with the hammer is a very strong position to be in. That they'll be feeling very good, especially after giving up that 3 to Wakefield when they made a couple mistakes and they probably weren't feeling too great about themselves. That they can get this to a tie.
So Dan didn't quite get under the corner there. Matt's going to be able to chase this one. What kind of weight is he throwing here, Eric? I didn't see the call.
I didn't either. He's kicking out. It looks like maybe like a board weight, kind of like an 11-second hogline to hogline time. Playing against Team Wakefield in the past, he definitely really likes that board weight. It's very controllable. You can manage the shooter, so you can do things like that.
Great shot. Look at that spin back.
That's incredible from Matt McCready.
Nice job from Matt.
Yeah, that's really good. They just like I said, like an 11-second wait so you can control the shooter, and they did exactly that.
Even got the friendly spin back at the end there. Looked like it was going to roll just a hair too far, and then it came right back to be shot. So they're just going to blast this.
Yeah, Richard's hand is kind of forced now. He's going to have to blast this out, and there's going to be no rocks in play with the corner guard, and Jay's going to be able to come around and puts it might be able to sneak a skips deuce out here. Richard makes no mistake.
All three of them go flying, and Jay immediately calls for the come around the corner. So he's going to make this one good. Out. I think he indicated like top 8 kind of depth there.
Yep, just kind of like a couple ends ago, and when you were asking me where the ideal position is, it's going to be the same spot here. It's going to be top 8 because if you go to the T line, Richard will probably just freeze onto the corner, or will try to, and that can kind of take away and give you the force. Where if you leave this one top 8, it leaves room so you can still draw in for your second point.
So if he makes this perfect, he's under the corner guard top 8. Where does Richard go?
If he makes this perfect, I would expect Richard to probably try the run back.
Yeah.
I think Richard's very confident in his hitting ability, and he feels like he can make a lot of run backs. And sometimes if it's top 8, it kind of forces your hand into that play.
Right. Sweeper's not touching this one.
Looks like it's got a lot of curling to do.
It's coming in deeper than they wanted for sure. It doesn't look like Richard's interested in the freeze. I think he's calling a hit and flop.
Yeah, he must be able to see a good portion of it. That guard is pretty high, so even if this was half buried, kind of back 4, you can get underneath and roll under pretty easily with how much curl there is. What an incredible roll by Matt McCready. Just kind of changed this whole end. It went from Wakefield looking like they were going to be forced to being in this spot where they had a chance for a possible skip deuce.
Yeah, just Jay a little heavy on his draw, gives Richard the chance to get himself out of trouble. And just guiding this one in. Looks like they're going to nose it. Now, do you blank? Yeah, of course, right?
Yep. Wakefield is going to be very happy with the blank. The way that end was shaping up before Matt's, it didn't look like it was going to be a blank. So Jay's going to be really happy. Run to the 5th end break with his hammer and keep this game. He'll be down 1, but he's still in a good spot heading into the 6th end.
Yeah, I think he's got to feel pretty good about where he's at. He had that one unfortunate miss that let Krell back into the game, basically. But other than that, I think Wakefield's been the sharper team so far. And
yeah, they've looked really good.
Yeah, if they can keep that up for the second half, I think they'll be all right. So they're pounding this for Curl, though. Oh, Jay flashes the blank attempt. Steal out of nowhere for Team Krell. And they are going to take a 2-point lead, 5-3, going into the 5th end break.
Yes, yes.
Curl in. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh boy.
Ahead of us all,
Driftwood Brewery, Esquimalt, crafting world-class beer since 2008. This is where beer is made. With care, intention, and respect for the process, every batch reflects the place we're from and the standards we hold ourselves to. And this is where it's enjoyed. Our tasting room, offering a rotating lineup of West Coast favorites and seasonal releases, right here in Esquimalt. Paired with Thai-inspired food from Dumpling Drop, we're open 7 days a week. Driftwood Brewery, great beer, confidently made. Cheers.
Welcome back briefly to the 2026 BC Men's and Women's Championships. Interesting game so far, Eric. We've had a few misses from each team, and I hate to say lucky, but it feels like Team Krell is very lucky to have this 5-3 lead at the half.
Yeah, I think you could even ask Team Krell themselves that kind of after that third end, if you told them that they were going to have a 2-point lead heading into the break, I think they'd be ecstatic. I think it's there's just a couple small misses from Jay, and it's completely flipped this game around.
Yeah, well, we'll see what the second half has in store for us.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
When I was younger, I thought purpose had to be big, like changing the world. But then there's the little things, like fueling someone's car before an early shift, or helping someone find the perfect bottle to toast a special occasion, making sure the shelves are full so a family can cook dinner, so those kids can have their favorite treats. Like giving back, like making everyone's day just a bit better. Maybe that's exactly our purpose.
All right, welcome back to the BC Men's Provincial Championship here in Esquimalt, BC, presented by Best Western. I'd like to take the start of the sixth end to just shout out the sponsors. So we have our presenting partner, Best Western, Bel Air Direct, and Driftwood Brewery. Digital Direct, another Victoria-based business, and AMJ Moving. We'd also like to thank our platinum partners, Kia Victoria, Peninsula Co-op, along with our government and community partners, Greater Victoria Sport Tourism Commission, the BC government, Via Sport, and the Township of Esquimalt. Their support helps deliver high-performance curling right here in British Columbia, and thanks again.
So what do we think we're going to see here in the second half, Eric? You think the teams will mix it up more?
Yeah, I mean, I think Team Krell is going to be pretty happy if it continued with a pretty open style, just hitting everything. But I believe Team Wakefield is probably going to be throwing a lot of corner guards here, a lot of draws, and just trying to gain some momentum. Just try to give their skip some confidence.
Yeah, it's going to be a little deflating for Jay. It's not like him to flash a couple of open hits like that. It happens. Every now and then you pop a blank just a hair wide and it just won't come back for you at that speed. But for him to flash two in the same game, I don't know if I've ever seen him do that before.
For sure. And I think it's especially deflating a little bit for Team Wakefield just because they were in control of the game in kind of both moments. I think in the fourth end, if Jay makes that nose, that they're looking really good. And even if Jay makes that blank, then last end, I would say that Team Wakefield would still be in control of this game. So it kind of flipped the game around, and now you're chasing kind of out of nowhere. So they just need to keep the spirits high on the ice, keep giving each other confidence, keep talking about paths, and just keep doing the same things that got them here.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, they're only down two. It's not exactly insurmountable. They have hammer in the even ends, which they, helps them out there. So hopefully they can put a good end together here and start feeling better about the game and start getting some positive momentum. And for Krell, he just hopes that they leave stuff showing, he could get some hits and keep it clean. Don't give him any chances that you don't have to.
Yeah, and I think Team Krell even is kind of thinking, hey, we're going to need to sharpen up a little bit here to close out this game. I think they're playing below a standard that they kind of expect from themselves. So I think you also expect Team Krell to kind of step on the gas a little bit here and sharpen up their skills.
Well, we got a good start to this end. We got a corner, one under it, center, one under that. Looks like we're going to mix it up a little bit. Are they coming around everything here?
I believe Richard indicated the high center guard.
Okay.
Throw a double center. I think they're making an audible now. Dan's got to try to curl this as much as he can. That's going to end up in a pretty good spot for Jordan. Maybe a little deeper than they wanted, but pretty good. Yeah, this is a very traditional setup you see in curling a lot of times at this level nowadays. It's just kind of with the 5 rock rule. This is kind of what's been forced. You see a lot of times the center corner kind of call it like a box. And then you just have to make a bunch of runs up the middle.
Right.
Whoa.
Oof.
Got away with one there.
Yeah, sure did. Just enough of a hole to squeeze through. Richard wasting no time. He's going to rip that corner guard.
Yeah, you always love these ones as a second. You can make the run back and roll into another center guard. It's always a very satisfying feeling. Oh, just misses the back one.
He rolled wide and provides another corner for Jay to hide around if he wants to later.
A little bit at this call. I was kind of thinking we'd see a corner guard thrown by Jay.
I think he's hoping to get 2 for 1 here. Hit like what I saw indicative is hit the center and roll to the corner.
Yeah, you're right. That is what they were trying to do.
Unfortunately for Chris, he over curled there. Yeah, he's talking it over with Matt at the hog line here, and he's a little upset with himself. So Dan's just going to hit this one. Do they want to roll anywhere here, Eric?
Yeah, they wanted to roll kind of into like the back 8-foot area. Just kind of like there. He rolled a little bit farther than they wanted, but I kind of figured no matter where that rock ended up, Jay was always going to be playing this come around.
Yeah, it's still early in the end. Might as well see if you can get one buried and get a mistake out of Krell. So asking Matt McCready to just get under cover behind those rocks on the side there. Matt made a beautiful shot last end. Let's see if he can bail the team out here again.
It's looking a little heavy right now.
Is that gonna hang on? Well, it hangs on in the back, but it's third shot.
Yeah, and Richard is just gonna waste no time. Just get rid of this guard.
So he's asking his third, Dan Wenzek, just to hit and roll in, put another rock in the middle for Jay to have to deal with. Dan's probably been the most consistent of Team Krell so far this game. And it makes that one pretty good, I think.
Yep, that's. I think that's exactly what he wanted. So yeah, definitely not a ton of Briar experience on the ice, but a lot of these guys are junior provincial champs. Dan Wenzek winning in New Brunswick and BC. Chris Parkinson skipped a team to the junior nationals. Matt McCready played third for Hayato Sato. So there is experience on this ice at the national level, just not exactly at the Briar. So they've played in big games before, but the men's level is always a different beast.
All right, so looks like they're trying to make the double and roll under.
Yeah, that's what it looked like Jay indicated.
Might have just panic swept that one a little bit. Needed to come up for them a little more.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back a little bit to what we were saying, how both teams seem to just be struggling just a little bit with the ice. I think they've got a better grasp on it now, but still I think they're guessing a little bit when they're putting the broom down.
Yeah, it still seems to be a bit of a struggle. I thought they would have got it sorted out. I mean, we're in the 6th end now. And these are, as you said, experienced teams. It's been interesting. I'm not sure if it's the ice or if it's just nerves getting to them. So Richard just wants to make this one go away, avoid a jam in the back, keep the pressure on Jay. Sure, he's happy for Jay to take one in this end.
Yeah, for sure. They'd be very happy with that, and that's the way it
And
looks
again,
like it's heading.
It called for sweep right out of his hand. I'm not sure they needed it, but
Ended up in a good spot.
yeah.
It actually, now that I'm looking at it, I think, yeah, Jay might be able to come around this corner guard here and sit shot.
Yeah, right on the corner there, looks like he'll have just enough of the 8 to be shot over that back red. Well, this has been Jay's shot all week. He's been making tons of these.
Yeah, he really has. It seems like every time I tune into another one of their games, he's making a draw to the side of the button for 2 or freezing on the lid to get a force. He's been really good on his draw weight.
Well, he's going to have to be good here. Needs to get to a pretty precise spot to be shot and force Krell into a tough throw. I think he'd have to run that corner.
Yeah, he probably would. I think these are the momentum swingers. If Jay could somehow find a way to steal a 2 out of this, that would be huge for Team Wakefield's morale.
All right, shot's on its way. Sweepers are just kind of guiding it in.
Line looks pretty good.
Yeah.
It's going to be all about the weight now.
Looks like it might be a touch heavy.
As long as it stays on for shot, this could still be a really good shot.
Well, he is shot rock.
That's not that bad from Jay. It's not exactly what he wanted, but it makes Richard throw a lot more difficult of a shot.
Yeah, and at this point, that's all you can do. Force Richard to make one. And if you get a half miss out of him or something, you might still have your chance at 2.
For sure. I think this is probably one of the more difficult shots that Richard has thrown so far this game.
Yeah, it's been a lot of nose hits for Richard.
They originally took like edge of 4 ice. I think Richard thought he could see a little more. With this broom, I expect them to kind of be throwing like a heavy draw weight. They just got to tap it, maybe a foot or 2, and that's all they need. So I expect kind of like a back 4, back 8 weight here from Richard.
Just trying to follow him down, push it back a few inches. And there they go, yelling for curl.
This looks like a lot of weight.
Yeah. A little heavier than he wanted. Also, I mean, there's one thing I've learned from playing Jay at the club a few times over the years and stuff. It's almost impossible to follow Jay Wakefield's intern.
You definitely, when he first put the broom down, he took a lot of ice on that intern come around, but Jay knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly a weapon for him, but you cannot follow that line. That's for sure.
And just kind of on theme for this game, just out of nowhere, a deuce for Team Wakefield. And Jay's just got to bite the 8 at the foot, and it'll be a deuce. And actually kind of unbelievable the amount of swings in this game.
Yeah. Well, they're keeping us on our toes, right? They just want to make sure we're watching every single shot. Sweepers are just guiding this one in.
Yep, looks really good from Jay, and he's got draw weight in his back pocket.
There you go. That's got to feel good for Jay. He missed a couple tough ones. To make those 2, tie it up in the 6th end, got to give him some confidence going in. So we are all tied up after 6.
Hey Mark, you ready for this game tonight?
Yeah, I'm excited, man. Cupsy, what are you doing over there?
Don't worry, boys. Was just on AztecSafety.com, took a fire extinguisher safety course. Paul, I'm putting out the fires from now on. Woo!
Driftwood Brewery, Esquimalt, crafting world-class beer since 2008. This is where beer is made. With care, intention, and respect for the process, every batch reflects the place we're from and the standards we hold ourselves to. And this is where it's enjoyed. Our tasting room, offering a rotating lineup of West Coast favorites and seasonal releases, right here in Esquimalt. Paired with Thai-inspired food from Dumpling Drop, we're open 7 days a week. Driftwood Brewery, great beer, confidently made. Cheers.
Welcome back to the 2026 BC Men's and Women's Provincials here in Esquimalt, presented by Best Western. And Eric, we are seeing the craziest game I've seen in quite some time. Like, it is a plot twist every end. Every end, I think we know what's going on. It's going to be a force, it's going to be a blank, and then multiples out of nowhere that you never expected. Team Wakefield has to feel great about that last two they got in the sixth end there. Skipper made a couple of beauties for a skipper's deuce out of, again, nowhere. And they're right back in this.
Yeah, it's a huge momentum swing for Team Wakefield. Knowing kind of like the attitudes and the personalities of Matt McGrady, Chris Parkinson, I think that's really going to fire them up to play well here in the last kind of 4 ends or so. Yeah, but you're 100% right. It's all over the place. It's almost like the teams are rolling dice at the start of the end to see how many points each team is going to score.
That'd be a fun way to play. I've known Matt for a lot of years now. I don't think Matt needs any help getting fired up, but but yeah, it's going to be a huge positive for the team, and especially, as I said, Jay making 2 really nice shots.
Yeah, and I think that's what Jay's been thriving on all week is that draw weight. He's had it in his back pocket, and that's why I think the aggressive style really suits them, because he can bail them out of situations when things are looking a little dicey. So I think they need to. I like them to continue playing aggressive here and rely on that draw weight, because I think they've got a good read on it.
Yeah, and the first half of the game, when there were a bunch of hits being played, we've mentioned it before, but Team Krell was rolling out a little more often than the Wakefield team. So the Wakefield team was getting some free draws and lots of ability to see the rock coming in, what the weight and the lines look like. I'm with you. I think they should be going hard here, putting the pressure on Krell. The Team Krell has not played up to their usual standard, and you need to take advantage of that. If you give them too long, they're going to figure it out.
For sure. Yeah, and this end is looking like there should be some rocks in play here.
Yeah, this is more what I'm used to seeing from these 2 teams. A whole bunch of stuff in the 4-foot, where just little taps, maneuvering things around, trying to get good position. Maybe Jay just needed to see 2 good shots to feel good about mixing it up.
For sure. Yeah. I think, I think that it does a ton for his confidence. It's looking pretty heavy, though, from Chris. Oh, he came down pretty good at the end, actually. It's actually pretty good. And Richard wasting no time to peel this.
Yeah, well, they're still shot, so it makes sense to get rid of this guard. It's the danger rock. That's the rock that's going to get you in trouble if you ignore it too long.
Those angles are pretty good for Team Krell right now too. It looks like if you hit that blue on the nose, you could get both the blues going and leave your red. So I expect a lot of guards here from Team Wakefield, and then probably try to change the angles on maybe Matt's second.
Yeah, I agree. And they're going to have to tap something around. Right now, this is leading to Team Krell having a hit for multiples, so they're going to have to change something. But it's still too early in the end for that. They'll throw a few guards, hope for a half miss on one of these peels. It's always a fun question of, like, when do you go? For both teams, like, does Krell make a play now, or does he keep peeling? And if you're Wakefield, do you keep throwing guards? When do you go?
For sure. It's kind of like a cat and mouse game, because if you throw another guard and Krell just says, you know what, I'm going to ignore it this time and just come around and lie to buried, it can be a little nerve-wracking.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. There's definitely a little bit of a chess game going on between the two skips on who's going to make the first move.
You know, there's no it's always kind of reading what your opponent is like in the game at the time, but generally, when do you like to make your move? Is it thirds first, thirds second?
Yeah, I kind of always think it's like third second is always a good time. I think that's just kind of like from my experience of teams in the past on when teams like to make the move. It looks like Jay's going to be going here on Matt's first, which, I mean, again, like you said, it's not a wrong call at all. It's very situational based on what you're feeling in the moment. And the players on the ice are obviously going to know what the game is feeling like, what the other team feels like they're going to do. So I don't mind this at all.
Yeah, and he did see Richard kind of hemming and hawing about going on his last one, so maybe that gave him a little more impetus to go first. I'm a third first kind of person, mostly because my third's the best player on the team, so I need her to bail me out all the time.
That's always another wrinkle to the strategy. Who can actually make the shot?
Yeah, basically only Corey. None of the rest of us are going to do anything.
So that did surprise me a little bit there from Jay. They did make a move on it, but they made a move on it with some weight. And they kind of got rid of their back one, and now Dan is being asked here to make the double. If Dan makes the double here, you're kind of relying on Team Wakefield to make a double back, or else you're giving up a deuce. And that is
right
not
on
making
cue.
The double.
Half a shot. Oh, how the end turns.
Thankfully for Team Krell here that Jay kind of has to hit this one on the nose, and I think there'll be a double back, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen on this throw?
Wild over Curl, take his own out. Nothing would shock me at this point. They are sweeping hard. Right.
Matt McCready is a very strong hitter. He doesn't seem to miss many of these. They're working hard on this one, though.
Nice sweep from Chris. That was head down going the whole way.
Yeah, very good. I've known Chris for a long time. I think he's been taller than me since he was about 12 years old. So he's a big kid. I played against him a little bit when he was first coming out in juniors when I was just aging out. And yeah, he's a very talented kid. He's very big, very strong, good sweeper. He's actually progressed a lot with Jay on this team. I think he joined this team last year, and he's made huge improvement since last year.
Yeah, Jay is a wily veteran at this point, but a super, super good teacher. And, you know, he just has that really calm demeanor. Nothing ruffles him up too much. And he's been really good for both Chris and Matt, I think.
Yeah, I think they're playing some of the best curling that I've seen from both of them. Dan Wenzik makes up for his last one, makes a nice double there, and this end's looking like a blank, which Team Krell's got to be pretty happy about.
Yeah, you know, we've said that before, Eric.
You're right. I'm getting ahead of myself. There's 3 rocks left.
Yeah. Could still be a deuce for the way this game's going.
This is actually a very similar spot to Jay threw earlier on that out turn hit, so I assume he'll correct this.
Looks good. They don't panic sweep it. Hey, I think we had our first just clean.
Just an incredible throw here in the 7th end. We figured out the ice. We're doing well.
Nice shot from Jay. It's funny to say that about a wide open nose hit, but the way this game has gone, that's a good, important hit for Jay. He needed to see one work out that way with just clean, threw it good, right to the broom, did what he expected it to.
Yeah, and we kind of saw that on Dan's last too. He threw a nice double. They just cleaned it the whole way down. But I think the players on the ice are finally fully settled in. This was a pretty good end from both teams. Dan missed the double earlier, but other than that, I think every shot was made this end. So
well, and that bodes well for the last few ends going forward. Now we'll see if Jay can do it twice in a row. We might have just given him the commentator curse. I hope not.
Yeah, the winner of this game plays tonight at 7 p.m. against Team Tanaka in the semifinals. That should be another good one. I think that's going to be hosted on Czech TV as well as right here on Curling Zone. So definitely tune in for that one later tonight.
Yeah, that should be a good battle. Tanaka's team, I mean, obviously they're in the number 2 spot. The Tanaka team's been playing well all week. Ran into a pretty hot Montgomery team last night in the AB final.
Yeah, Jason and team played really well last night. They put a lot of pressure on Cody. It's Cody's second time being in that AB qualifier game. He was also in it last year.
He's changed his team up a little bit this year. He's new front end.
Yep, new front end. He has Mitchell Kapitko and Corbin Fadden playing for him now, but they're younger guys, but they've really stepped in and embraced that front end role, and they've been playing really well this week. Richard with the blank attempt here now.
It's always nice when your third gets up and waves and stops watching it.
Yeah, no mistake from Richard.
All right, that was probably our best end so far, and it turned out to be a blank. But that's how it goes. 5-5 after 7.
Driftwood Brewery, Esquimalt, crafting world-class beer since 2008. This is where beer is made. With care, intention, and respect for the process, every batch reflects the place we're from and the standards we hold ourselves to. And this is where it's enjoyed. Our tasting room, offering a rotating lineup of West Coast favorites and seasonal releases, right here in Esquimalt. Paired with Thai-inspired food from Dumpling Drop, we're open 7 days a week. Driftwood Brewery, great beer, confidently made. Cheers.
Welcome back, everybody, to an exciting game here. We are in the 3-4 Page playoffs here at the 2026 BC Men's Provincials presented by Best Western. We're here at the Archie Browning Center in beautiful Esquimalt. They have been treating us super well all week. All the volunteers and staff here have been amazing. Just want to give them a shout out and a big thank you as we go into championship weekend here. And we've got a pretty good battle brewing here. The first half was a little nerves, I think, showing, but everybody seems to have settled down. We had a really good end last end, even though it was a blank there, Eric.
Yeah, Craig, last end was probably the best end played by both teams. I think almost every shot was made. Everything was made and called. This end surprises me a little bit. Team Wakefield goes top 4, which I think is kind of the correct call in this spot, a tied game in the 8th end. And I'm kind of surprised that Team Krell didn't throw a corner guard. It almost looks like they're happy with a blank here in the 8th end, which surprises me a little bit.
Yeah, that kind of surprises me too. You think they have Hammer here. You would think they want to take advantage of that. Have Hammer in 8 and 10, hopefully. Yeah, I'm a little surprised to see them hit the rock in the top 4, not throw the guard.
So it looks like Richard's indicating now for the corner guard. So they did a little bit of a delayed corner. I didn't exactly see where Team Wakefield's rock was, but it was probably in a pretty good spot. So maybe that's why this play was. If you think that rock is like top button and kind of a too good of a spot, a lot of teams will hit and roll to the corner and then throw the corner guard to throw a delayed corner, as we like to call it.
Oh, and it just stays out. Never a doubt.
Never a doubt. And whenever you get into the situation for Team Wakefield, it's always a little awkward. Where do we go now? And Jay's going to be kind of throwing, I think what people kind of consider like the optimal play nowadays is to just throw it like edge on edge of the guard top 8, kind of block off the come around.
Yeah, take away the draw path. Now, if he does that, if he's just behind, edge on edge, just behind the guard, isn't that going to leave a double?
Yeah, it might, but I think Jay is not too concerned about leaving a double. Wow, they make it even better. That's a really good spot. Yeah, you can't walk that down and place that any better, because now if Team Krell here freezes on the corner, you've got a pretty short run back double. Yeah, and Richard's actually going to play the run back now.
Yeah, I think you got to do it before. Like you said, there's no good way to deal with that rock. If you freeze on it, the short run double puts you in a load of trouble. Might as well make this now. Get behind your own rock if you can. Well, a little bit of an overcurl again, but he got a nice roll out of it.
Yeah, just kind of have seen that kind of consistently the whole game is Jordan's out turn. It's just overcurling a little bit.
Yeah, I've been watching. I'm almost right behind the sheet, and I've been watching as he lets it go. It seems he's just doesn't have quite as much of a set as, say, Dan or Richard do.
Right. Yeah, and that set is really important when you get on ice like this. It makes the curl a lot more predictable. It keeps the rock on a consistent path when you're not setting it and you're just kind of letting it go straight through or just a small set. It really changes the break point and can get a lot more curl.
They're just picking this one out. Oh, okay. I thought they were trying to pick it. Either way, job done. They're still line 2, separated. Finally gave the fans a reason to ring their cowbells. There's some hardy souls out there. 9 a.m. in an arena setting.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah. I'm upstairs behind the glass, so at least I'm warm.
Yeah, Wakefield's got to be pretty happy with the situation right now. If they can, it's always difficult to keep these rocks separate for 8 more rocks to come. But if they can do that and get a force here, they're going to be really happy.
Yeah, it's like you said, it is tough to keep the rings split for when you started this early in the end, trying to have them split. Like, it's all these teams are such good, strong hitters. Any sort of angle, and they're going to be trying their best for a double. Now that's pretty great.
Yeah, you cannot make that any better. That's exactly what Matt McCready was looking for, I think. And yeah. It's so good that Richard thinks he's going to ignore it and try to get a deuce here.
Yeah, it's going to force a complete change of gears here.
And yeah, I think the players aren't mic'd up today, but I think I agree with Richard here. I think you kind of have to make this play.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think you have enough rocks to hit and roll and hit and roll and hit and roll with the other team hitting and rolling the other way until you can finally make a double. Like, it's too late in the end now with where Matt's rock ended up.
Yeah.
So you got to try something else, or you're just conceding the fact that you're going to get forced.
And I think this is a good learning point. A lot of teams will continue trying to make a double, hit and roll over there to leave themselves a double when it's unlikely. And a lot of teams wouldn't make this play early enough in the end. So I really like this call, but you need to take advantage of it.
Yeah, sweepers did not like that shot. They were backing way up. Oh, Jay pulling it back a couple of years to when he played second.
There's a massive sweep from the skipper.
All 4 feet of it. Good job, Jay.
Hey, anybody can be a good sweeper at the last 6 feet.
Stared at that one a long time. From the overhead, I think it's just out. So they're just going to put another one in the rings.
Yeah, and if it is close, even if it is in, it's not going to be out counting that blue one. So Team Krell has a lot of work to do to even bring it in play if it was.
I think that might have been Dan's first draw in quite a few ends. He's been throwing a lot of hits and doubles and things like that. So unfortunate that it went a little deep on him.
Yeah, kind of what we've been saying. It seems like Team Wakefield has had so many free draws into the rings to get draw weight.
Dan will try and make a good one here and make up for that one he just threw.
Yeah, Craig, I think they're trying to hit and roll behind that blue one.
Yeah, that's what they showed. Seems to be hanging out there, though. And he's just going to get the nose.
Yeah, and Jay's going to be happy. Jay's really happy with the situation right now. Yeah, and I understood the delay corner from Team Krell, but I feel like in the 8th inning, you have to be a little bit more aggressive. I think when you're playing the delayed corner, I kind of call it like going for a soft deuce.
Mm-hmm.
And you're really not trying to force the issue too much. I would have much rather seen Krell be a little more aggressive here trying to get a deuce. And if you get forced, it's not the end of the world. But this end just kind of looked like they were getting forced the whole time. They
Yeah.
never really had a chance for 2, and I think they needed to be a little bit more aggressive here in the 8th end.
Yeah, I agree. Been watching them all week, and this is probably the most passive I've seen them play. So Jay got a hold of that one. He was a little wide. They had to sweep it for Curl. That's going to leave a double on the other side if they want it.
Yeah, I think Rich is going to try to hit this one just as we're looking at it here, a little bit on like where Dan's broom is and try to roll up on the corner of that rock on the left. It might make it a little bit more difficult for Jay to remove.
If he does that, does Jay just ignore it and lob another one into the rings?
I think so. I think if Richard makes it really good, I think Jay's very confident in his draw weight right now. And I think he would just split the rings.
Richard wants to take another look at it. Front end's coming down to have a discussion. Still lots of time. They got lots of time. They don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, with how open this game has been, they both still have their timeout. I'd love to be able to hear what Team Krell is talking about here, because Richard was pretty content with throwing the hit and flop onto the corner, but Nick Meister kind of talked to him about something, and that's what's brought up this discussion. I guess if they think that one's in, it does make a big difference.
Everybody having a little look at that rock while the discussion happened. Now I'm not sure what they decided on. Broom was going to be in the same place no matter which shot they decided, so we'll just have to see what happens after he throws.
Yeah, I think if he makes the double here, I guess it could be a little more tricky for Jay if that back red one is in.
So here we go, Richard Krell's first one in the 8th end. Dan calling the sweepers on. And that one just curled up a bit too much on him, rolled out. Jay almost wipes it, trying to slide down to the other end.
Very on brand. It kind of seems like this game is Team Krell's had a lot of over curls.
Yeah, a lot of overcurls, a lot of rollouts at inopportune times. Matt just having a chat with Daniel about how he has to be ready to catch Jay when he's going to go down like that in the house.
Somebody's got to look out for Jay out there.
That's right. That's right. Don't want him to bust a hip. All right, Jay with just trying to draw into the house, force the issue.
Yeah, and I think Matt was probably talking to Daniel Dang about whether they want Richard to draw or hit. It looks like with this placement, they're looking like they want Richard to throw a hit here.
And it looks like Richard wants to throw a hit too.
Yeah, and like I said, this isn't the end of the world for Team Krell. They're obviously going to go up one, playing the 9th end. It's a good spot. I'm just surprised they weren't a little bit more aggressive in pushing for 2 this end. I think they played it really passive, and
yeah, I agree. I was a little surprised. I'm also, like, to me, the difference is if you go aggressive at the beginning and you say, hey, if we get forced, we get forced, then it doesn't feel as bad as this, I think. You know, you can see from their body language, they're a little frustrated here. So playing it passively and then being forced is different than saying a force is okay. You know what I mean?
100%. I agree with you.
But Richard makes no mistake on the hit, and he's going to take a 6-5. Team Krell leading 6-5 after 8.
When I was younger, I thought purpose had to be big, like changing the world. But then there's the little things, like fueling someone's car before an early shift, or helping someone find the perfect bottle to toast a special occasion, making sure the shelves are full so a family can cook dinner, so those kids can have their favorite treats, like giving back, like making everyone's day just a bit better. Maybe that's exactly our purpose.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting tenfold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2026 BC Men's and Women's Provincials presented by Best Western. We're here in Esquimalt, and we are brought to you by, again, our presenting sponsor, Best Western. There's also Bel Air Direct, Driftwood Brewery, Digital Direct, and AMJ Moving. Just want to shout out our platinum sponsors, Kia Victoria and Peninsula Co-op, and our great government and community partners, the Greater Victoria Sport Tourism Commission, BC Government, Via Sport, and the Township of Esquimalt. Thank you very much for everything you do for curling and for allowing us to have such a big event here at the Archie Browning Center. For the first time, I think, ever, but maybe in a long time, the U20 championships are happening at the exact same time as the men's and women's. And later today, when the men's semifinals and the women's semifinals are being played, the U20 semifinals will be out on the ice as well, getting a chance to get some arena experience and throw in the arena with all the crowd and everything going on at the same time. That's going to be a huge thing for those kids.
Yeah, it's a super cool moment. I was lucky enough to play in a junior provincial final. And if I would have got the experience to play in an arena at a young age, that would have been really cool. And I think it's something you kind of dream about, I think, as like a junior, watching it on TV, always seeing the arena, always seeing a crowd. And even though this is on a smaller scale, even when there's 100 people out there, it feels like a lot. I can promise you that. So it's a really cool experience we're giving the juniors this year here in BC.
Yeah, and we can't do any of that without our sponsors. So we thank you so much for your support and your generosity and for supporting curling in BC. I think the ladies semifinal, because Taylor Reese Hansen is going to be in that one. She's had by far the biggest fan base here all week. And so the girls who are playing in that semifinal are going to experience crowd noise like never before, which should be a lot of fun for them.
100%. Yeah, the team Reese Hansen gets a lot of support from the community. They've a really good up and coming team now for a long time, and I feel like they've kind of burst onto the scene this year. Not that nobody knew about them before, but winning the Tier 2 Slam earlier in the year, just a couple weeks ago, was massive, I think, for their confidence and kind of showed to the rest of Canada that they're here to stay.
For sure. They had a really good game against Team Brown last night. So they have some momentum going into that semifinal. I'm excited to watch that one. But we're back to our game here, and true to form, we are mixing it up. The team's feeling good. Both teams feeling good about throwing some shots around the 4-foot now. Very nice freeze there.
Yep, that's 4 in a row. All exactly where the teams wanted them. They put these rocks in really good spots. I think you can expect Wakefield to be pretty aggressive here for 2. I guess it kind of depends on the team and what they prefer. Some teams prefer being down 1 playing the 10th end with the hammer. Some teams prefer being up 1 without hammer playing the 10th end, and it's kind of all just dependent on what your team feels like is best for you in that moment. I've always liked leading personally.
From what I've seen of Jay this week, he never turns down any opportunity to try and score points. Doesn't matter what end it is.
I kind of agree with that. I think scoring points is always good. Jordan Tardy just coming up a little bit heavy there and rolling off, giving a good opportunity here for Team Wakefield to take advantage.
Yeah, Jordan's had a bit of a rough game. Certainly not as sharp as he would like to be and not as sharp as he usually is. So Jay's just trying to figure out the best way to take advantage of this now.
He was first kind of initially indicating to hit this red one on like the right side as we see it and roll away and push that blue over onto the other red. He's now decided that he's going to play a little bit of a hit and roll underneath the center guards, and I think I like this call just a little bit more just early in the end here. Looks like it's really close.
Nice. That's a pretty good shot. Might have rolled a little bit further than what he wanted, but I don't think it too bad.
No, I think that's a pretty good spot. I think this is going to make Richard think a little bit about what he wants here.
And I agree with you, Eric, on that call Jay made when he initially said, let's just hit this on the side, get rid of both reds. I think you just would have seen a double in return. And then, your chance for a multiple is pretty much gone at that point, unless you get a miss. With this, you're keeping everything in the middle. Angles are favorable for you. Like you could still work towards getting that 2 or possibly more.
100%. I think kind of what we said at the start of the end, how Jay likes to score points, and I think playing that hit and roll to the inside like he did is kind of showing that he's going for a multiple score this end. There is an opportunity here though for Jordan to make the hit and roll under, and it could put a lot of pressure on Team Wakefield.
It's looking pretty good. Oh, he's coming off the top one.
Just over curled again.
It changes the complexion of the house for Jay. He's got to be careful where he puts his next one.
Yeah, he's looking at the hit and roll here.
Yeah, I think that's the right call. It was that or just freeze into the pocket.
Yeah, my school of thought is always a little bit, if you can hit or draw to a place, I kind of always opt to throw the draw just because you can usually manage it a little better. Hit and rolls can be really tricky sometimes. And
or you can just do that.
Unless you're Chris Parkinson, it's really easy. Yeah, that's a really good shot from Chris. That puts a ton of pressure on Team Krell now.
Yeah, they're one lonely rock surrounded, and it's not even shot rock. Great hit and roll from Chris Parkinson there. That's certainly going to have Team Krell very careful with their next one. What's your call here, Eric?
I'm not seeing a ton that I love. I think this initial thought from Dan and Richard to freeze top 4 on the nose, so that is probably the best call for now. Because Team Wakefield won't be able to get it out for a while. Yeah, right where Richard's broom is, kind of splitting the center line, top 4, I think is a really good spot.
That's all I could see too. Richard's talking about, oh, if we tap this a little bit, it's not terrible, but I wouldn't want to move anything around, I don't think. Just sit right in that pocket and just keep the threat of being able to bounce off that one alive for the rest 100%. Of the end.
Yeah, I think 100%. I think the scoring area is very small right now for Team Wakefield, so that's kind of like the one saving grace for Team Krell right now is it's a very small scoring area. I think Dan, this is a really big shot though. If Dan can make this, it will save them or at least get them out of the end for a little bit. We always talk about tolerance on shots. Sometimes there's no tolerance on a shot, and I think this is one of those moments.
Yeah, sometimes it's a make or miss, just flat out.
Line looks really good on this.
Well, there you go.
That's really good from Dan.
Really, really nice shot from Dan Wenzik.
Yeah, that was really important.
We'll see how the rest of the end plays out, but that might be an end saver there. Now, you were talking about a small scoring area, and we've been talking about what Jay's been capable of all this week. I'm pretty sure Jay's looking at that going, no problem. I can fit 4 rocks in there. So.
He said, I only have to touch the button. I don't have to bite the pin. That's tons of room for me. Yeah, no, Jay's definitely had his draw weight in his back pocket. And this is what Team Krell's kind of needed to do kind of the whole game is just make a shot and make Team Wakefield make a difficult shot back. They haven't done a ton of it. And Team Wakefield's still looking good here. I still like the angles for them, but this is a big shot for Matt McCready. If he misses this end can flip around really quick.
Yes, agreed. And we've seen that several times in this game where things have really pounded it for Curl.
Well, I think that's very good.
Yeah. I think that's a very good shot from Matt.
The red right now goes right through that hole.
What do you do here? Do you ever play off the side one into the one on the button?
Yeah, that was kind of my first initial thought, was to kind of see if you could do anything off of that, but yeah, I'm not seeing a ton of great angles right now for Team Krell.
No. I don't know if you want to touch that rock that Dan just threw. I think it's a little too early for that.
One thing I think maybe could be a really good shot, it's very difficult, is to come off that rock that Jordan is indicating and just pushing that blue on the button to kind of side of the forefoot. Yeah. Just like what Richard just said. Because now that it makes it a lot more difficult for Team Wakefield to get that top red out. So you want to throw it hard enough to make the roll, but you don't want to throw it hard enough to move it out of the forefoot. I mean, it's a very flat roll. So I think you're going to be throwing this pretty hard either way, but
yeah. Well, it's an important shot. They've talked about it for quite some time, but I think they've come to the same conclusion that Jordan did.
Yeah, I think if you can somehow make this roll and just push that rock a foot, that could be really good. Yeah, it's another really big shot from Dan Wenzik. And like you said a little bit earlier, I think Dan has kind of been the steady ship for Team Krell so far this game, and they're going to be leaning on him here again.
Yeah, for sure. Nick aside, I think Dan's been by far the most consistent thrower on Team Krell this game.
Jordan's working hard on it. That's a pretty good
Richard.
shot.
Pretty close to what they wanted.
Yep.
Pushed that blue a little further than we were expecting it to, but they are shot rock. Wakefield's going to have to deal with it. Two really good shots from Dan Wenzik. It really got them out of a bit of a pickle there.
Yeah, Dan has really come to play this end. He made two really important shots, and they were both pretty difficult.
Yeah, looking at all their options before Dan threw his last one, I was thinking, I don't know, I'd probably just throw a guard on that and hope. So I'm not making those shots Dan did. Oh, Wakefield just trying to figure out best way to deal with this this situation in the center.
Yeah, I think Wakefield's in a little bit of a pickle here. They're kind of indicating to play like maybe a hack waiter on the nose of the red.
Yeah, just enough to push that back red out, but keep everything kind of still locked together so that they have some angles on their last.
Matt's kind of talking about now. I think Matt kind of indicated, what if we peel? I mean, if you peel, I don't know.
What does Krell do?
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting end. There's a lot of angles, a lot of options. Thankfully, both teams have a ton of time from early on in the game.
I was just about to say, it's a good thing they saved all that time. Looks like they've sort of kind of made a decision.
Yeah, so it looks like they're going back to what Jay originally called kind of like I'm guessing kind of like a backline weight, and try to get to close to nose as you can on that top red top four, and just try to push that shooter that Dan Wenzik just threw kind of out of the 4 foot. I think that's kind of the goal here.
All right, here we go.
Chris working this one early.
Oh, now they need it to curl. Oof, just by that guard. I think that's pretty good. Not quite what they wanted, but pretty good.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit more weight than Jay was looking for. But it's not a bad result. Yeah, that red one that Dan just indicated there at the back of the 8 foot is a pretty important rock right now. It kind of stops you from ever giving up. I think, from ever giving up a 3.
Well, what was it you said last time? The reason I said 3 wasn't in play because 4 was.
Yeah, exactly. I could never really know. So I think Richard's trying to just make the double here and roll on top of Team Wakefield's rock on top of the button and really shrink that scoring area for Jay.
And sweeper's going on it for the last little bit.
Sit. Huh.
That's not the roll they wanted. It didn't quite work out. I think it overcurled on them a bit.
I don't know if the angles are quite there, but there's almost a shot for 5.
Well, there's still a few rocks to come.
Yeah, it's.
But I think it's given Jay an opportunity to maybe deal with that back 8 rock that you were talking about being so important for Team.
Yeah, and I thought. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. The reason why I was saying that back rock is important because of all those biters now, and the 12-foot could come into play if Jay can make something really good here. It's close. I think he can get all the reds going.
Yeah, I think so. I think it just lines up enough. All right, shot from Jay is underway. He got rid of that back 8 one. Didn't get the one in the top 4 out. That was always going to be tough.
Yeah, it was definitely, it was really hard.
Did about as good as he could do there, I think.
Still a really good shot from Jay, though. This is a little dangerous for Team Krell.
Yeah, they got to be really careful with their rock placement here. Anything that doesn't work out perfectly, probably going to give Jay a chance for a big end. I like this call. Those blues on the side of the house there. If Richard hits this one, sits on top there, I don't think there's a good double. I think it just jams.
Yeah, you might be able to get it kind of over top of that one in the 8 foot on the right there. It might be for 2, but that might be all that it's for. It's a very big shot for Richard, though. A note, if he gets to nose, it's going to be a force. It's going to be a really good shot. But to get to nose, you have to get really tight to that guard. So.
On it for Curl. Not quite to nose.
I think he rolled into a pretty good spot, though.
Yeah, don't.
Matt's indicating that double, and I think he's the only person on the ice that can throw it hard enough.
Yeah. That's what I was just thinking is I'm not sure Jay throws it that hard.
Yeah, and looks like Jay's just going to draw for 2. So not exactly what Richard wanted on his last, but he was close enough where it limited a lot of the damage.
Yeah, after Jay's first, Richard was in a pretty perilous spot there. So he made a good one. It's no double there for Jay. And he's just going to draw in. That's Jay's kind of go-to anyway. I think he would have picked the draw anyway.
For sure. And I think Team Krell's got to be pretty happy here. With Jordan's 2 misses early in the end, this end could have really shaped out really poorly. And they could have given up a lot more than 2. I think Dan made 2 really good shots. And they're able to kind of escape this end a little bit.
Yeah, I completely agree. Dan really saved their bacon this end, as he's been doing most of the game. No mistake from Jay, though. Draws the pin.
Yep, never a doubt.
2 points for Wakefield. He's going to take the lead. He will be leading 7-6 as we go into the 10th end.
Aztec Safety is #1 for online safety training.
Aztec Safety is the proud sponsor of the Aztec Safety Challenge, the #1 event on the World Curling Tour.
And Aztec Safety has been a proud sponsor of Team Jacobs on our quest to represent Canada at the Olympic Games.
Welcome back to the 2026 BC Men's Provincials here in Esquimalt, presented by Best Western. We have a tale of two halves of this game. First half, everybody was a little tentative, feeling each other out, a little afraid to make a mistake. And then mistakes happened due to that tentativeness. And then the second half, they've been getting after it, and it's been an exciting second half.
Yeah, for sure. These last two ends have been really good from both teams. A lot of made shots. It's weird. You don't feel the pressure, but there's kind of like an energy, a little bit of a tentative energy, as you said, and it can sometimes lead to misses. If you're overthinking things, sweeping a little tense, it's hard to just let the game come to you in moments like this.
I'll have to take your word for it. Biggest thing I play for is a jug of beer on the seaside.
Hey, that's bragging rights too. That's just as important.
Oh yeah, well, I'm gonna brag either way. It doesn't matter. So, getting the 10th end set up here. Daniel Dang with his second. First one came in nicely into the top four. Team Krell elected to throw the corner guard. They're going to be going hard for two.
Yeah, Daniel's played really well this game. He's put his rocks in the right spot every single end. He's getting his team out in front. It's really important at this level to have your lead playing well, especially in big moments like this. Going to be a little bit unhappy with that one, not quite getting to the center line.
Yeah. Just a little bit of an undercurl there. Even with Matt dramatically sweeping at the end there.
Matt likes to put on a show.
That's for sure. And we appreciate it. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Yep, always entertaining to play against Matt, to watch Matt. He's a good guy, good curler, and yeah, he's a lot of fun to watch.
All right, so first four rocks, despite Daniel Dang not quite getting back to the center line, pretty much exactly what we expected here.
Yep.
Now, if Chris can make a really nice freeze, and then Team Krell will have to start dealing with the middle eventually.
Yeah, once you kind of get into this spot, it's get your one around the corner guard, and then just keep playing runbacks down the middle until you can get them all gone.
Getting close to the center. Oh, not quite.
Changes things a little bit for Krell. I don't think he's going to want to try just the straight run back and leave the staggered center guard. So I assume it's tough. That's that rock over on the side now that Nick threw. If you try this double peel, there is a world where it nicks it as it's going by.
Yeah. Yeah, if that rock wasn't there, then you'd just see Richard come flying up to those two rocks and call him for the double peel immediately. Gonna try the run.
On and off it.
Oh. About as close as he could get without getting it.
Yeah, not a great spot where that shooter rolled to, though.
Nope. That's going to give Jay a chance to come in around it, half tucked, and it's going to make Krell's life a little more difficult.
Yeah, where on Jay's or on Chris's last one, he was trying to freeze right to it. I think this one you want to try to keep as much separation between your rock on the forefoot and your shooter. I think you want this like top 8 depth at the deepest.
Yeah, he's going deeper than that. Oh, it's coming down. Yeah, right to it. That's not what Jay indicated. It's a bit of a miss from Chris. Not horrible, but definitely deeper than they wanted.
Yeah, I think the angles here. I think Richard can get the blue-red running back onto the blues. I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's lined up.
And as you can see over the skips' heads on the left here, they had a lot of time heading into the 8th end, but that 8th and 9th end, there was a lot of rocks in play, a lot of thinking, big decisions being made, and the clocks definitely ran down quick.
All right, so are they just trying to sneak around the guards here?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're trying to throw like a hack weight, backline weight, and try to just move the rocks. Oh, maybe that's... Actually, I think that's what they called. I think they were... That's really good from Jordan. I missed the call there. That was my fault. But I think they were trying to... I think that's exactly what they were trying to do, to roll another red into the rings and open up the middle.
Well, mission accomplished. A nice one from Jordan Tardy. That's got to feel good for him. He's had a bit of a struggle this game.
Yeah, for sure. That's a really important shot.
So what do you do if you're Jay?
I think his first indication here, I think, is the right call. I think you just hit this and try to stay for third shot.
Feel like we're going to say this a lot during this end, but this is an important one for Matt.
It's got to
Is
sit.
that going to sit? Nope. Little bit too much of a rollout there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I expect, I think Richard indicated to just hit this on the nose and leave his red in front of it.
Yeah, I believe that makes the most sense to me.
Yep. Yep. You kind of got your second point sitting on the wings, buried.
Pretty close to exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, he might have left a double there, though.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of had to hit that a little bit on the other side to keep the angles where if they tried to double it would jam.
Yeah,
I think this is where Matt thrives, and I expect him to be close here.
I was going to say, if you want someone in this game throwing this, it's Matt.
An intern right down the center line is right up his wheelhouse.
Matt would tell you everything's in his wheelhouse.
Well, that's because he's a pretty good curler, and it probably is. That was not a great throw, though.
Nope.
But he might have gotten away with it.
Might have got away with it.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't in, not to beat up on Matt, but that was not his best throw. They were looking for a thin quarter, and he hit it 3/4 low.
Yeah. And he knows. He's slid off to another sheet to be angry with himself over there. He's frustrated. He's probably very excited for the chance to make that throw, and it didn't work out the way he wanted to. And that's a little disheartening.
A really good shot from Dan.
Team Wakefield are in some trouble here.
Yep, they're in a lot of trouble.
I'm calling a timeout. Coach is coming down to have a look.
Yeah, I don't know what I like best here.
I like rethrowing match shot. Can we do that?
Unfortunately, I don't think there's mulligans at this level, but that would be a neat little wrinkle.
You get a do-over. Barring that, I don't know. I think maybe you hit and roll under the red guard and pray for a miss.
Yeah, I think if you're going to play the hit and roll, I think you might as well just draw. I think Jay has had really good draw weight. You can draw it into a really good spot, make Richard throw the run back, and if he does, well, I mean, hats off to him.
Yeah.
I think, I don't mind the hit and roll. I think the hit and roll just makes it a harder shot. Because I don't really know what your like goal is. Like you're hitting and rolling to not give up 3, but you can't give up 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like they're going to hit and roll off that top one and hope to stay at least in front of the red or under the other red. Either way, they're just trying to force a miss out of Team Krell. With the way this end has gone, they're going to need a bit of a flub to get them out of scale.
Yeah. Yep. So Jay Wakefield's first here in the 10th end of the Page CvC qualifier game. Winner plays Team Tanaka at 7 p.m. tonight.
They are going on this really hard. I'm going to get... They might have been better to come off that one and try and roll off the back one.
Yeah. Yeah, they're probably, there maybe could have been an audible there. I think I don't know. I understand, obviously, the reasoning by hitting this back one. I think no matter what you do with this rock, Team Wakefield is drawing around that red.
Yeah.
So I think you'd see some teams draw right now, draw top 4 and beat them to the spot.
Yeah, because if you draw top 4 and then even if Jay corner freezes on that red on the T line, he's not going to be shot.
100%.
And you're gonna have enough room for your second. If you hit that back one and Jay makes that draw, now that's a problem.
Yeah, you're probably playing the run back, which, I mean, it's not an impossible shot, but I would much rather have my skip throwing a draw to the 4 foot than a 8 foot run back.
Yep. Looks like they figured that part out, though. They've called their timeout. Paul Tardy coming out to give the boys some advice.
Yeah, they're also looking at drawing to like kind of open side to the edge of the 4-foot there. I don't mind that call either.
Yeah, as long as you got more of the 4 than Jay can get by freezing.
100%.
You ever just peel your own guard?
I think if that blue one at the back was third shot, 100%. I think you peel. I think if you were sitting 1-2 right now, yeah, you just peel that, and Jay has nowhere to hide. With Jay keeping that rock around in the back there, it does make it a little bit more challenging for Team Krell, and that's why they're so torn on this and in what to do, and that's why they're just going to hit this back one.
I understand the call. I don't love it. I think I would put one in there. I'm a little worried that with the way Jay has been drawing, he's going to get to the corner of that red on the tee, and you're going to be forced.
Yeah, and he can put it in a really good spot too. If he shows a little bit of the a piece of it on the far side, this rock that they're throwing right now is going to be in the way of jamming. Well, now it's not even going to be there. So I think that's better than I think nosing it. Because if you were to nose it and Jay puts this rock right where he's going right now and shows a piece on the right side as we look at it, if you ever tried to chase it, it would be going onto that back one. So
right.
I think rolling out, they're a little frustrated, but I think it's actually pretty good that they got that rock out of the way.
Accidentally made it better.
Yeah, and as we said, Jay's he's drawing. He has to draw here. You've got the guard. You might as well use it.
All right, Jay Wakefield's last in the 10th. He needs to be shot. Wants to be hidden under the red guard. The sweepers are just guiding it.
His draw weight's been really good this game.
Yeah, if there's one shot that you expect Jay to make 9 out of 10 times, it's his in-turn draw.
This looks really close. This might be over curling a hair.
I think it just over curled on them. I think you can see more than enough of that rock.
It's a good thing there's not a rock at the back of the 8-foot. That's kind of what I was hinting at. If Team Krell knows their last one,
yeah,
this shot would be a lot more difficult. So now that it's not there, they don't really have to worry about that. They just have to worry about getting by the guard, and you're good.
Just a half rock too much over curl for Jay. You don't have to stick around. Just going to make it go away.
Yep, this is a shot to play in the semifinals later tonight at 7 p.m. against Team Tanaka.
They are going on it hard.
No mistake.
There we go. Nice shot from Richard. And Team Krell is going to take this back and forth battle. And it's going to be 8-7 final. And we will see them again at 7 p.m. against Team Tanaka.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. That was a great game.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. First half was a little weird, and second half they picked it up and made some great shots. We had some good stuff to talk about and think about. Looking forward to the next one against Tanaka. Great showing all week from Team Wakefield. They're getting some applause and love now, and that's good for them. And really, way to stick with it for Krell. They were not on for most of the game today, but they managed it when they needed it the most. So they're going to have to come out a little sharper against Tanaka tonight, I think.